Is the 720C really that much brighter than the Aputure 600? It's crazy. Today we have a fun test in store. We have the Nanlite FC-720C up against the Aputure 600 daylight version. The main point of this video is to see pretty much what output you get out of the Nanlite 720C versus the Aputure 600D. For those of you who have bought a single light into either system, this might actually be a pleasant surprise for you to see which system you want to commit to. So as you guys saw from my last video, I ran the Nanlite FC-720C against the smaller brother in that FC lineup, the Nanlite FC-500B. We took those readings here on our light meter and we were pleasantly surprised to see pretty much the output that we got out of both lights. I'll put that link in the description for you guys to check out that video. So I have my measuring tape laid out just to show you guys the distance. So we're at about 9 feet 10 inches or so. Again, just giving you some Hollywood. Again, shout out to Plum Media for letting me use their studio space. Right now I'm gonna go back to my 600 and I'm gonna crank that up to 100. So I'm gonna take my reading. So again, I'm at the end of my measuring tape, just making sure I'm accurate. And we're getting about 7,000 lux on the Aputure 600D. So again, this test isn't meant to be super scientific. I am taking readings, just so you guys can see how these lights stack up against one another. So the aperture is at 0%. And there we go. We have the 720C cranked all the way up to 100%. Again, I'm at the end of my measuring tape, taking the same reading. Now we're getting 8,300 lux out of the 720C. I'm at 100%, 5600. Those are my settings. You can hear the fans kicking in, so it's working. Is the 720C really that much brighter than the Aputure 600? It's crazy. So if you guys go on my last video, the 720C was pretty much the same output as the FC-500B. Again, there's no other color temps to cycle through on the Aputure 600. It's the daylight version only. Yeah, the 720C just beat it. And you have the full RGB option. Okay, so I'm gonna take this reading again to make sure that the 720C is in fact brighter than the Aputure 600D. So the Aputure 600 is set to 100% intensity. Okay, and I am getting 8,000 lux. There might have been some user error. Maybe you guys can see that. 8,000 lux. I'm gonna turn off the aperture and then turn on the 720C, and I set that to daylight. So 8,300 lux. I'm gonna cut the aperture some slack. So I was trying to maintain the same distance at the end of my measuring tape. If I was to move the light meter forward, it bounced like 8,000. So I'm gonna mark that up to maybe some user error. But even still, I only got 8,000 out of the 600D, which is daylight only. And I got 8,300 out of the 720C. The Aputure 600 is rated at 5,600 Kelvin to 6,000. You can go up to 6,500 Kelvin on the 720C and even higher. And I'm gonna go to 6,500 Kelvin first. Same exact reading. So 8,300. Here, let me just stop at 8,500 Kelvin. Same distance, 8,300 lux. So we're at 12,000 Kelvin, okay? So we're at the same output, 8,300 lux. I might have had the meter not quite exactly at the end of my measuring tape, but this is as scientific as I'm gonna get. So I'm trying to show you guys some real world use. This might be realistically the distance I might position one of these lights as a key light during an interview. The Aputure 600D is the non-pro version. So you have a mixture of some metal with plastic and aluminum. The yoke is a lot beefier than the 720C. The Aputure 600's like cables. The way it's built is just more robust. Now there are differences in the ballast. The 600D, the ballast is a lot heavier, so it actually works well as a counterweight. I would not, again, recommend it be a substitute for a sandbag or anything, but annoying feature on the 600, I guess they have this back railing where you could lay it down on. I guess each light has their pros and cons. Now, even though our tests show that the 720C is brighter, again, the build quality, I'd feel much more comfortable, putting this workhorse through its paces. This will stand up more to just everyday wear and tear, whereas the Nanlite is more plastic. Handle, I'm afraid it would break compared to that of the Aputure. Here's the case for the Aputure 600. So you get a much better case with this light than you would with something like the 720C and even the 500B. There you guys have it, the results. So really happy with the FC-720C purchase so far, and I think it's really going to be a great addition to my kit and allow me to get even more creative with my cinematography and ultimately storytelling, because that's what it's all about. If you have any comments, if you own the light, or if you're on the fence about getting the light and you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. I got some fun short films on the way and just some more updates career-wise in general. So stay tuned for that, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.